Hey guys, we've finally been released and put into the real world to do the ultimate test. We've all been hanging for this one, right? BFGoodrich's KO2 versus the recently released KO3. To facilitate this, we brought some support in. We've got Will from ARB and Andrew from ARB as well. We've got a couple of brand new Ford Rangers. We're going to put these tyres through every terrain test we can. They're suitable for so many purposes, and so we're going to put them to the ultimate test. We've got sand, we've got mud, we've got water, we've got the real world road conditions as well. 10 years of learning with this product have been instilled into this particular KO3. So I'm in the car with Andrew. We've got the KO3s on that particular car. Katie and Will have got the KO2s. We're going to hit the sand shortly. We're here already. Andrew, what can we expect from the sand?
We're going to expect a lot less traction. So we're going to have to get our driving skills on, deflate the tyres and tackle that hill climb, see how we go.
Okay guys, well let's go and see what these tyres performed like when we hit the sand dunes.
How good's this? We're out here on the beach, about to embark on our sand challenge. I'm really excited to do this. Let's go.
So now we're here at the sand dunes. We're going to do the hill climb challenge here. Andrew, this has already been a bit of a task just to get here. Look at the tyres, they're caked up. What are we looking for from the tyres and how are we going to have to approach this hill with the KO3s?
Well, so at the moment we are at 25 PSI just to see how far we get up.
Yep.
Which I don't think we'll really get very far. And then we're going to air down to 15 PSI and then 10 PSI to show you the difference between traction when you get more footprint on the actual tyre itself.
So with going down in that pressure, that's the bagging that's talked
Basically,
about?
yeah, so it just increases the footprint of the tyre lengthways and widthways.
Yep, so it's just
and then
more
also
contact.
lets it crawl, like claw the ground to try and make it up any decent slippery incline.
And this kind of surface itself, it's obviously not a rocky surface, it's not hard, so is it more of like comparable to like a mud type wet surface, or what's it
Basically,
like?
yeah. So it's very similar to sloppy mud, but yeah, it's obviously dry. But yeah, it just need more footprint in the tyre, so yeah, the
get
extra
that traction up the hill.
Yep,
yeah,
that's
right.
it.
Well, it's going to be pretty cool to see what each of those evolutions are and see how they compare to the KO2. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Cool.
We are ready to go.
Do it. Here we go.
Got the steep.
She's on. Okay, Andrew, so fair crack there. We almost made it up. Started to lose a little bit of pace. That momentum was dropping off. Do you think an adjustment with the tyre pressures is going to help if we wind them down a little?
Definitely is. We're going to drop it to 15 PSI now.
Yep.
Have a crack at the same line and see what happens then.
Cool, let's have a go. All right.
We are on and ready to go.
See how we go. Feeling better already, isn't it? Oh, so close. We've got at least another metre.
Why did it cut out?
All right, well, 2 attempts so far. We're getting closer, like that second set of marks is at least 1.5 metres, 2 metres further up. What's our next step? Lucky last.
Last step, 10 PSI, and then
We're
go as hard as we can.
Just nail it. Just
we'll make it.
Yeah, we've really got to show up.
KO3s will get us up to the top of the hill for sure.
They totally will. All right, well, let's do 10 PSI and push hard. Okay, last attempt. Let's see how we go. Got to give it all.
10 PSI
There's
should
not,
do the goods.
there's not that much more that we've got to try and make up.
No.
When you look at it. Yeah, that's
getting it done. Not even spinning.
Whoa, that's a massive difference. That is a huge difference. We should have just gone straight to 10 psi. Why did we waste all that time and energy?
Show the people what can happen.
That's great.
This is the KO2 sand challenge. We're actually not going to even bother with doing 25 psi. We're going to drop down to 10 and then just send it from there. So Will, can you tell me why we're going down to 10 psi now?
So we're dropping these tyres down, Katie, so that we're maximising the performance out of the tread. What happens when we drop it to 10 psi is the tyre bags out, meaning we'll get maximum traction as we head up that hill behind us.
Good to go. So Will, I think it's fair to say that both of these tyres handled really well in these conditions, but it comes down to PSI making the real big difference.
Absolutely, Katie. Both very comparable tyres in the sand coming up that hill. Definitely comes down to that tyre pressure though. You could see the boys early on with their 25 psi. They definitely struggled to get up that hill. As soon as we dropped those pressures down to 10, straight up we came. That's just key, and it goes to show that as you drop your tyres, the more they bag out, the more traction you're getting on the sand, driving you up the hill.
Oh, that's great. Well, I think it's fair to say that there was still a winner in this challenge.
Oh, cheeky.
All right, well that's a wrap on the sand challenge. Now we're just going to head up to the hills and see what else we can find. Just when I thought we were on a roll to move to our next location.
Some can, some can't.
Well look, our run of good luck had to come to an end at some stage. Tyre off the bead, so what do you do? So an important little lesson, once you've had some fun in the sand, put your tyre pressures back up before you hit the road. We didn't quite make it to the road, there was a little bit of fun had in the middle in the meantime, but yeah, so we're going to put it up in the air, use a little bush mechanics trick to get it sorted, and we'll be on the road to getting up into the hills. What's this bit do?
So?
What's holding it, strapping it up like this do? Just gets...
Just puts pressure on the bead around the rim so it can't seal off.
Yeah, sure.
And pump it up the compressor and it should pop back on. Good as new.
We're here at the rocky part of the challenge. As you can see, we have found the steepest, rockiest, shaliest road that we can find to climb up. Will, what are you hoping to see on our climb up there?
Hoping that we get maximum performance out of the legendary KO2 tyre. As we accelerate up that hill, we want to make sure that we're getting maximum traction down onto the ground, driving us up through this shaly, rocky terrain.
So it's really important that we've got these tyre pressures right. Will, what do you think the correct tyre pressure will be as we go up this hill?
So we'll drop our tyre pressures down to about 25 psi. That's where the sidewall will really come into play, because obviously as we drop the tyre pressure down, the tyre will bulge out, and as we head up that hill, the tyre will conform to the rocks. So we need a strong sidewall to ensure that we don't get any punctures on the way up.
Yep. All right then, let's go put these KO2s through its paces then. Let's do this.
Let's go see how we go. Well, we've been an option just because we've got that little bit of a tree stump there.
Oh,
so you just feel those tyres working over that.
Do you feel like they are gripping?
Yeah, no, we've got really good grip getting up here at the moment.
I mean, for me, this is like a joyride. I really need to get that grip of the KO2s right now.
This just does not want to play ball.
No. It does feel like they are just spinning.
Mm.
Got my big rig.
So Andrew, we're now here at the Rocky Challenge with the Ranger. We've got the KO3s on board. I've already looked at how steep this is going to be. It's pretty grotty, a bit ugly. I'm feeling bad for the guys with the KO2s. I think they're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Well, with the softer compound that's in these KO3s, I think you're definitely right on that one. We'll be able to crawl up there with ease and put them to shame.
I've heard that it's a bit rocky up there. It's pretty shaly. It looks like there's some wild looking bits of limbs and trees around, all sorts of things that get caught in the tyres. What do you think? How's this going to tackle that?
So with the KO3, we've got the upgraded Core Guard Max sidewall.
Yep.
So when we let those pressures down, they're going to be nice and tough. Any of those sticks and sharp rocks shouldn't be an issue. We'll compare that with the KO2s when we get up the top. See how we go.
Yeah, I think that tread design, it's got bigger blocks, it's separation, it's trying to push those rocks and gear out. So we'll sit at about the same tyre pressure, 25 PSI.
Exactly the same, yep.
Yeah, cool. Shall we go and do it?
Definitely.
Let's see how we go. She looks steep, that's for sure.
The worst thing is if you get more momentum, the harder it is on the vehicle.
Yeah. So just ease on the momentum up here.
And we get up a bit further.
And then punch it a bit harder.
A bit more.
Yeah. Well, it's making light work of this bit.
This is quite a Sunday drive compared to up here.
Yeah. Gee, it's pulling through pretty well though.
It's still not to the hardest part just yet. And this corner is going to be tricky bit.
That's where it's getting steeper.
Just this part here.
Yeah.
Momentum just here to get up over this one. Yep, come on.
Perfect.
We got it. KO3s for the win.
Wow, it's getting it done, isn't it?
Don't know what those KO2 people are talking about.
Well guys, I don't know about you, but what a hell of a challenge. Like that was some serious elevation,
So
super
fun.
steep, the ruts, like that's just crazy. Even to think that, you know, production cars like these can actually just get through that rough and tumble, that's super, super cool. That momentum we were talking about earlier, having to keep that up to try and get through some of that super ruddy stuff, that was so important. Hey, Andrew?
Definitely needed it.
Yeah.
Otherwise we would have stopped like you guys.
Yeah.
We weren't going to bring up the stopping and not being able to get up that second time too early, but yeah, like I think there was a very clear and discernible difference between the two. When you look at the condition of the tyres, particularly on the back of the cars now, and then that really unfortunate sidewall puncture as well.
So as you can see here, Will's pumping up the tyre because we've actually just come back from that really steep rocky hill from up the road. Insanely shaly and super, super spiky rocks. We've actually got a puncture in our sidewall.
Look, as the member of Team KO3, I'm really not surprised. Yeah, we made through all the challenges, all the dramas without a sweat, and yeah, we might grab some lunch actually while you guys are fixing your mess there.
So you would say that your Core Guard Max is an improvement?
I think our Core Guard Max really kicked in. What you guys needed was the Core Guard Max.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, what do you do?
Well, you just run the KO3, right?
Win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
I think you guys might have just had that advantage there as well, just with that little bit softer tyre.
Yep.
I was able to just grip on that road that little bit more and just punch you up those little rocky, shaly spots where we sort of bogged down that little bit, spun those tyres a bit and just couldn't get enough momentum just to jump up to the next spot on the track. So
Yeah, and you can see that, like, it was definitely, you know, it was hard work to push through. Andrew was given it a fair wallop, and even on a couple of goes to get to push through and get up over those ledges. But then, yeah, you look at the effect of the tread blocks on the outside edges, where obviously the tyre's been gripping it as much as it can and then pushing all the rocks and stuff free of the tyre. It's really punished those rears. It's knocked around the KO3 as well, but not nearly as much. So
yeah, the KO2's copped it a little bit more.
there's some really, you know, it shows that, you know, for 10 years of development that the engineers have put into it, there's actually a genuine difference, which is pretty cool. Obviously a really good tyre to begin with, but then they've enhanced it even more. So yeah, good work to the designers.
We found that even just coming up this road here a few times, that the KO2 is actually really, really great with that. Like, its grip, we weren't spinning out at all.
Yeah.
You were pedal to the metal at one point, and it was just, yeah, it was just being absolutely amazing. Like, it's still a really good tyre.
Yeah. If you look at this one, there's a mark on the wheel and the tyre where it's obviously tried to penetrate the same spot, but just enhancement, that's all it comes down to.
Gouge, but
So it doesn't ruin your day if you've got the slightly, you know, more enhanced tyre. So yeah, it's a good way to go.
we drove along the gravel road for a bit. We actually found that the KO2 is really, really good in gravelly road conditions still. How about you guys with the KO3?
Yeah, look, I think it's just, again, it defines an all-terrain tyre. It's good in those extreme situations we saw before, but it's a staple when it's just on, you know, forestry roads, unsealed gravel roads. I think the tyre performed really well through those sections. Cornering, braking, how'd you find it?
It drove quite hard in the shots around the corners.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, it nearly just wouldn't lose traction.
Yeah.
See, we found the same thing as well.
Yeah.
Like, when Will was trying to, get a drift on, it was just hard to break traction, which I guess really is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
You wanted a tyre.
Yeah,
But
totally.
when you're trying to shoot to the camera, you're like,
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
And there was a point there where I'd come around that corner and I thought it was about to do a bit of understeering and push into the bank or go and try and get close to one of the cameras. But in the end, the speed felt like it was going to, but it just tracked around the corner like it should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after we finished the hill climb, we all ended up going to a nice little riverbank spot. It's like gorgeous little place here where you could camp.
Really relaxing.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
And Will decided to take our car basically through a river.
Yeah,
It didn't go
let's
to
just
plan,
say the
basically.
bottom was a little bit softer than we thought.
I wouldn't sit there, Stu.
Oh, not too bad. No, not much.
And they say he's the professional.
You know, I was just turning it on for the camera crew, trying to give the tyres a bit of a wash after the hill climb. Wanted them to be sparkling again, and I think we achieved it.
Free floor wash at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got caught in some rain. And then after that, we thought, oh, we'll go find a bog hole.
Yeah, there was that muddy bog hole on the side of the road as we were leaving.
Yeah.
So while we know that these aren't mud terrain tyres, we do know they're all terrain. So in the context of everything we're doing on this trip, we're keen to see what they are like in mud terrain as well. So let's give it a go.
But it wasn't as muddy as we were actually hoping, because we were actually really hoping to get like a good mud test going for these tyres.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah, the bog hole was not very boggy.
Even going through a bog hole like that, how would a cheap all-terrain tyre stand up to even going through those bog holes?
A less good tyre would just fill up with mud.
Yeah.
And then basically just driving on slicks.
Right.
So you get little to no traction as well as little to no steering.
Yeah.
You'd just be at the mercy of where the tracks are going under the water, so you wouldn't really know.
So even though that bog hole didn't present a problem for these tyres, that's probably because they're actually pretty good tyres.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's probably just testament to BFGoodrich's designs over the years and the clearings that they have in the tyres to make sure as you're driving through those conditions, the tyres are cleaning themselves out to ensure that you're getting the maximum tread and the maximum traction that you can.
What about when you got on the sealed road?
Yeah, so honestly, the road noise is actually quite loud.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of people say that about the KO2.
Yep.
And that's something that I know that the KO3 has made improvements on.
Yeah, so and there's no doubt a few components to that. The design of the tyre, the compound of the tyre, all of those elements come into play. But yeah, we found it whisper quiet, was really quiet. So these are pretty quiet. Yeah. These aren't noisy. There's no hum. There's no drumminess that's sort of coming through. What's the steering feedback like?
it's very straightforward. There's no pulling or anything. It's all just nice and smooth.
And these have seen some action, right? So you know, it's basically 2 days of being tortured, particularly with that mountain climb where you know, like the KO2s, you look at that tread and it looks pretty ugly. I'm sure that's got a little bit more noise than it normally would. But these, you know, pretty quiet. I can feel like hopping in any, you know, sort of sedan that's got road tyres on it, feeling that this is pretty comfortable. So it doesn't stand out to me as an issue. So I think, yeah, the road noise compared to the KO2, but yeah, these you'd happily run them any day of the week on any car based on this performance.
I would agree.
I'm really surprised at how chewed up those KO2s actually are.
Yeah,
I had a look at them just then. I was just like, oh, but Jesus.
I only saw when we pulled up the road up here.
Yeah, and you had like a look.
Yeah, I was like,
I swear they weren't that bad.
I think it must have just been because like they were muddy.
It must have been like disguising the.
Yeah, still
stuff,
had like gravel stuck in them and whatever.
It must have, because like, oh, I'm really like genuinely surprised.
Yeah.
But the KO3s, like their front ones, still look pretty mint, and their rears have got like a little bit of chipping, but not that much.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Like you wouldn't think our tyres have only been on for a day and a half.
No, exactly. I think they would have done a fair few tens of guys looking like that.
But then again, we have put them to a pretty good test, so they don't seem as loud today either. Probably because they're pumped up now.
Yeah, you're right actually. Yeah, like it's really it's very bearable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I think they were just a little bit louder because we were at about 25 psi coming back from the gravel and the river and whatever, so.
And what are they right at now?
35.
Okay.
80–90% of the time people are on highways or main roads, and these tyres probably only really get to shine in the unsealed world for maybe 10 or 20% of their life. It's a fun 10 or 20%, but the day-to-day, it can get like that humming noise that you just constantly, the vibration through a wheel, all of that kind of stuff with an all-terrain tyre can be pretty mind-numbing. So
you just got to turn your music up.
Yeah, that's right.
I think you've touched on it perfectly, Stu. I think it's definitely got to come down to that little bit softer compound.
Yep.
As we touched on earlier, when you put the tyres together on both the KO2 and KO3s, you can see how ours blocked out that little bit more.
Yep.
As people say they do, and I think that just extends to that road noise. It has to. Once you've got little blocks missing out of your tyres, you're obviously going to get a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess, we saw a practical example. We had the, probably a world first opportunity, particularly in these kind of conditions, to go and put these tyres to the test. It's a little bit too warm to test out the snow performance.
They do have a 3-peak snow rating.
Yeah, so that's important if those conditions arise, and certainly be great to test things out in those kind of conditions. But general consensus, KO3 for you?
Definitely.
Yeah, Will?
I think they're both a legendary tyre.
Yeah.
They both certainly meet the market with their price point.
Yep.
I wouldn't say one's definitely a lot better than the other.
Yep.
I think it's just comes down to personal preference probably in the end.
Yeah. And look, you can't actually get a KO3 in every size that a KO2 is in at the moment either. So we've still got another 2 years before the full range is going to be complete, and all tyre sizes are there. So look, there's some awesome choice that the consumer has, and each sporting different benefits. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit biased because we got to experience the KO3 all week, but I can understand why you'd be sitting on the fence.
Yeah. I feel like we need to do a swap now.
You want to get on the winning team. Yeah. We understand. Yeah. We understand.
No, I think it's great that BFGoodrich have given us the opportunity to come out here, test these tyres out, and we'll just have to do another trip in some snow.
Yeah. Oh, already looking forward to that, hey?